Welcome to Mega Matters Radio Show. Author Greg Meakin tackles the issues of the day with lots of laughs along the way. Raw, unscripted, uncensored, uncanceled. Mega Matters with Greg Meakin starts now.
You got me headed to the left, headed to the right, headed back and forth, but baby, it's alright. You got me going to the east, going to the west, going up and down, cause baby, you know best. All day, all night, running around, I'm never gonna stop because you never settle down. Got me shooting into space, flying at the sun. I'm never coming back, cause baby, you're the one.
You'll be hearing today, it's Mega Matters on the America Matters Media Network. Welcome. My name is Greg Meakin. Before I start, let's go with the elephant in the room. Does anyone notice anything here in my my eye for the first time in my life? I got a little minor surgery, had a little cyst taken out. So I got a big old black eye for the show. Big old black eye. I've had some of my readers laugh at that hearing that's coming up. I was talking to Sheriff Lamb. Of course, we got Sheriff Lamb coming on. Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, what an exciting interview that's going to be. We got Sheriff Lamb coming on, and I joked to him, a couple of years ago, I challenged him to a hockey fight. We might talk about that more today, but challenged him to a hockey fight. And I'm saying, boy, oh boy, is this how he reacts? So good morning, everybody. Just off to the races. Look at the chat already. We got Val Olson from Arizona. We got good old Michael Mandeville from up in Alberta. Goodness, nice to see you guys, early birds and stuff. Okay, here we go. The word of the day is Kaizen. Kaizen, which is Kaizen, Kaizen. Or as my Canadian folks would say, Kaizen. Okay, that still sounds weird to me. I was raised with that for 20 years, but Zed still sounds funny. Kaizen is a Japanese term. It's a cultural term. I learned it from Toyota Motor Company, Toyota, almost 20 years ago. And essentially, Kaizen means continuous daily improvement. Just trying to do something new, try something new, be a sponge. My sign off on radio, it's funny, most people who know me and have listened to me, my sign off on radio is always wake up in kindergarten every day. There's so much to learn and so little time, because before you know it, you're in first grade. So we'll start off with the lesson of the day. Maybe one of these days when I get dialed in on graphics, we could do like spelling Kaizen. It was absolutely amazing part of their culture. Example of Kaizen within Toyota in their factory, with the hundreds of little workstations everyone has that they had in their factory. They actually had a clothes hanger. And you remember the old clothes hangers from our grandmother's days and stuff? A clothes hanger going throughout the entire plant and right through the workstations. And if any employee, including entry level, saw something wrong with that assembly line, they were authorized and empowered to pull the clothesline, where the entire assembly line would stop. And a team of troubleshooters would come down and fix the problem, and then they'd be able to restart it again. So Kaizen, try to learn something every day. It's been verbalized a million different ways over the years, but there's my message of the day. Thank you. I'll kind of start a little delayed here. We have Sheriff Mark Lamb coming on. This is a rare exclusive interview. I can't wait to see him. The first time I interviewed Sheriff Lamb was over 2 years ago. Full disclosure, I've known him as a friend. I'm a friend of his for over 3 years. Knew him long before he was running for Senate. And I mean, just a huge supporter in every way. Again, long before the Senate, just as anyone who knows of him or has read of him just knows he's our kind of American, and he'll show you that as the show progresses. But I'm excited to see Sheriff Lamb in the House. It's gonna be great. He is so busy. I talk or text to him every day, almost every day, and he is so busy. Can you imagine? So I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to have Mark Lamb here today. Always shout outs. Okay. America Matters Media. I love you guys. Eddie Floyd. On the boards today, Brian Shaddix, who I call the Guitar Man. You have to pronounce it like that, Guitar Man. And if we hear from Brian during the show, I've welcomed him to feel free and chime in and any 2 cents that he has. But it's so exciting to be here. Sheriff Lamb scheduled in kind of any minute. You never know. And I also don't know what time constraints are going to be. Someone like Mark, it can be anywhere from 5 minutes to a half hour or more. The first interview that I had with him over 2 years ago, I called it a campfire chat, Secrets from the Inside. That's my brand, campfire chat in Arizona City, Arizona. And this ended up there's actually clips on my YouTube channel, but it's never been released. It has never been released publicly. But I will probably shortly with how involved with the Senate race he's become. But it was a 1 hour and 15-minute true live form, long form, never mind commercial breaks, no commercial breaks. It was edit free. And again, there's some really awesome clips on my YouTube channel. And again, this is the first time I really got to know Sheriff Lamb. In our chat here, Val Olson, our investigative journalist extraordinaire, was actually present at that campfire chat and had lots of input. So honestly, there's a teaser. One of these days, I'll get together with Mark and Janelle Lamb and see if we maybe want to release that interview. It's amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing stuff. We talked about stuff because I don't like just copy paste. I've told you folks, I don't like just copy paste stuff from the headlines. By the time it's dinner time, we've heard all the stories before. I really like to get, as they say, inside scoop, cutting edge info, boots on the ground, skates on the ice. Tell me something that I haven't heard. And if anything, if that's my one goal with the sheriff today, is we'll talk about important stuff. I want to hear about the border. You listeners out there, there's a lot of folks, so many folks out there that have no clue the grease fire that's going on at the border, but Sheriff Lamb will fill you on that. I'd like to hear about the border. I really want to hear about July 30th down here in Arizona, and I think there's other primaries around the country as well, is our Republican primary between Sheriff Mark Lamb and Carrie Lake. On the Democrat side, a gentleman named Ruben Gallego, which at all costs, we just have to absolutely win the election down here in Arizona. Otherwise, it will be a true blue state. So I want to get into important stuff like that. And Sheriff Lamb always has kind of inside scoop on that stuff. He has, obviously he's running for the Senate, and then I'll be having him of course, let you know where to find him and everything about him, of course, that's going on these days. And he has a couple of great books out that are on Amazon. They're wonderful. I actually pulled them out today. You've got it's great. This is a fabulous book. This is excuse me on the camera here, American Sheriff, Fabulous Traditional Values in a Modern World. This is a kind of a Bible for young men and really a lot of folks out there. And then this my favorite, American Sheriff, where we are camera wise. I'm terrible with this stuff. Rules to Live By. This is a book based on the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. This is an amazing book. I liked it so much. And again, it's truly lessons to young people. Mark and I talk a lot about the generations. We're worried about Generation Z and even the Alphas coming up. But yeah, American Sheriff, Rules to Live By. I wrote comprehensive book reviews on this book. It's still on my website, but it was absolutely brilliant piece. And hopefully, again, time restrictions, but hopefully I'll ask Sheriff Lamb of some things that he had featured in that book. So there's truly timeless, priceless messages. As he says, no fear, do right. No fear, do right. A little anecdote as we wait for the sheriff to get into the green room, but a little anecdote is during that campfire chat a couple of years ago, I met him for the first time. I felt that like the safest person at that campfire chat because Sheriff Mark Lamb, all 6'4" of them, walks in packing. He always says he packs. He's definitely a Second Amendment person. Do you think? But he came in and I said, honestly, and this is kind of half my Canadian background. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but kind of my, shall I say, polite Canadian background. I took him aside and I said, Sheriff, we're doing a, interview, probably an hour or so. It's going to be taped, so it's not going to be live. And it was almost before these live stream days, but it's going to be taped. So if there's any question that you don't feel comfortable with, or you don't want me to, or you don't want to answer, just let me know. And he looked at me, I kid you not, Val Olson will laugh because she was there. But he looked at me, he said, hell, I ain't scared. He said the word ain't. That's great. I ain't scared. Ask me anything you want. Ask me anything you want. And I say right now, I wish there were more politicians out there. Truth, authenticity. The Leo Zackis of the world, shout out to Leo. You're getting some fans. Okay, Leo. I believe you guys and the Sheriff Lambs, and I call them, you guys are all Gen Xers for the most part. You're in your 40s and 50s, you're running by the seat of your pants, you're running the world and stuff. But the Leo Zackis of the world, he had said this on the show the other day when with Eddie Floyd. He had said he's just an authenticity guy. He is a truth guy, and if that doesn't win him an election or whatever, so be it. But he brings the truth and brings really, again, kind of unexpected shout out there. But kudos on you, Leo. That was a great show the other day. And I really, really hope and pray, I mean, you're next governor of California, because that's a big. Hey, anyone in the mood for $7 a gallon gas? Give you $7 a gallon gas. I just say to my Democrat friends, I don't want to overcomplicate this. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I just want my $1.75 a gallon Trump gas back. That's all I want. And I always get kind of silence on that from my Democrat friends on that. But all I want is my $1.75 gas back. I just want my groceries back where they were half the cost of what they are now. Half. As I'll always chat about on this show it's what we're facing on the home front. It's the grocery prices, it's the gas prices. People are really struggling, and November 5th is an existential lesson coming up. It looks like we might have Sheriff Lamb in the studio here. Brian, or do we have him dialed in?
We do.
Is he going to be live here?
Can you hear me, Greg?
Oh, goodness, Sheriff Lamb. I thought you were going to be on video with your cowboy hat and your big smiling face.
Well, I'm driving, so I don't want my video to show that I'm driving. I am doing hands-free, but...
Maybe have one of your deputies pull you over or something, if you had video going. Goodness.
I wasn't aware. I thought this was a call-in. I didn't know it was a video thing.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I'm short on time. I don't know. How long do you think we'll be on for?
It's your call, Mark. I mean, honestly, I know you're on the run. If you 5-10 minutes or as long as you want, I'm thrilled to hear your voice. We'll run with it right now. How's your timing looking? I know it's crazy out there. You're coming, where are you coming from, Mark?
Oh, right now, Florence, but we're heading to Yuma.
Okay.
So I'm hustling home because we got to jump in and drive to Yuma and then on to speak. And then I'll be driving back home tonight.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to turn the mic to you just for time constraints here. Again, you and I have had I told the audience earlier, you and I have had a 1 hour and 15 minutes straight conversation around a campfire. So if you've only got a few minutes, whatever, you are running for the United States Senate. So I'll just turn the mic over to you, Mark. Take as much as you want. Take 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever. Just let us know, the audience. You know, we've got a very, very big audience. They're following you. They're following the race and stuff. But catch me up completely as far as what you want to share. And if you're good there, just go for it. Take the mic, Mark.
I had to turn off my radio, else you would hear the radio in the background. So,
oh my God, look at you! You're look at you, and I'm here.
Thanks for having me on.
Did you see my black? Did you see my black eye? Can you see me on the screen?
I can, now that I stopped driving. Yes.
Oh yeah, drive. Got a little cyst removed. Right, so it looks like joke. I said, I challenged Sheriff Lamb to a hockey fight a couple of years ago around a campfire, right? And I said, I don't care if you're 6'4", right? 6'4", and I am not 6'4", 5'8", $147. I said, I don't care who you are. If we get you on a pair of ice skates, we'll see how you do, right? So I'm going to seriously.
I would do terrible on ice skates.
Oh, you look great today. You got your cowboy hat. You got your smile. I'm going to honestly, Mark, I know you're on the run. You take the mic as long as you want here. Catch everybody up. Give us inside scoop. I've shared twice on this show. Again, welcome to MAGA Matters, Mark. This is what it's all about here. But I've talked about your 37,000 Chinese nationals from last year. We talked about that hope probably being doubled this year. Anything you want to chat about? Our listeners, believe it or not, I'm sure there's some listeners, because we've got international folks who maybe even don't know you. I can't imagine that, but just take the mic and go for it here, Mark. Go for it.
I keep trying to take the mic, but you got the mic. That's why somebody tuned you up already. No, I'm just kidding. People are gonna be like, "What is he saying?" Yeah, so I'm the sheriff of Pinal County, Arizona. We are between Phoenix and Tucson. Our county land-wise is the size of the state of Connecticut, 5,400 square miles. We have a population of about 500,000. I have about 600 employees and a budget of over $60 million. I've been the sheriff now for 8 years here in the county. We are not on the border. We are 52 miles off the border on the southwest corner, which is where the Tohono O'odham Indian Reservation is. And then we are 71 miles off the border where it intersects at the I-10. And the challenges we've always dealt with border issues. As a matter of fact, under the Trump administration, there was many months where we had more apprehensions than what the border counties actually had. Wow. And that was large in part because they were coming through the desert areas. Now with the broken, system, with this policies of this administration, which they are purposeful policies, by the way. These are not like, hey, all of a sudden there was a surge on the border. There's a surge on the border because of their policies. And this is by design and intentional. They wanted all these people to come here. You can go back and look at all the videos of them saying just as much. And they also said they wanted to reinvent America. And so as a sheriff, I fight this every day, whether it's, the people that they leave for dead in the deserts that we have to rescue, whether it's the fentanyl that we're trying to stop from getting in the hands of the loved ones or the other drugs, whether it's the people being trafficked by the cartels, people in trunks of cars, some against their will, the women being trafficked for sex, the children, any of those things are issues, in my opinion, that I think we as Americans should be absolutely outraged about. And there is nothing humane about an open border. Don't let them make you think that there is. There is nothing humane about an open border. People from other countries are being abused. The only people winning in this is the cartels. They've gone from making $500 million a year to $13 billion a year.
Wow.
And so you can see my passion in this. And, we've been dealing with it for decades. Now you might say, well, what's different? Well, the last 3 years, first, the policies of this administration, terrible, not pro-America. Americans and America comes last with this administration. But these policies are a disaster. But what's really changed is we're now seeing people that are coming from 170 different countries, from Africa, from places like Mauritania, which is in Africa below Morocco, which is one of the leading breeding grounds for Al Qaeda. They're coming from Syria, the Middle East. They're coming from Haiti. They're coming from Brazil, Ecuador. I mean, they're coming from all over the world. Russia, Ukraine. They're coming from China, like you mentioned. 37,000 Chinese nationals last year. We're at about 30,000 Chinese nationals this year. That should be alarming because you just can't leave a communist country. You know, you got to have permission. And so that should be alarming to all the people out there that who's coming in our country. And they're not able to vet. You know, when I talk to Border Patrol, they say that if they're lucky, they're vetting 5% of these people. And so that's become a real terrorist threat. And the FBI's acknowledged that. And then you take on the other piece of that, which is the fentanyl. The fentanyl is the leading cause of death amongst Americans. And what I've been saying lately is we've been conditioned as Americans, you know, and I don't know if you have Canadians listening, even if Canadians, we've been conditioned to see it as a bomb going off or planes crashing into a building or somebody walking into a crowded building and shooting a gun. I will tell you that the terrorism we're seeing now is quiet. They're not even firing a shot, yet they're killing more Americans now with fentanyl poisonings than any army has had success killing. And it's about a tune of about 100,000 Americans a year right now. And it strikes terror into the hearts of American families who might lose one of their loved ones. And you might say, well, how's this a national security threat? Well, I think anything that takes American lives is. And you're taking the fentanyl that's coming from China. China is then putting it in the hands of the cartels. The cartels are now benefiting financially. They're bringing it into and putting it in the hands of Americans. And we are now losing more Americans. So no matter where I go, Greg, in this country, people consistently say the issues that they're facing, the top issues, the most important issues, those kitchen table issues are the border, the economy, crime, and national security. And so when you ask why I'm running for the U.S. Senate here in Arizona, you know, there's an old Danish saying that says whoever has the ability has the responsibility. Well, when we look at those issues, you're not going to find a candidate that has more ability in dealing with the border, that understands it, that has the relationships, that understands the complexities of it, the trade between America and Mexico, you know, the farmers in Yuma. All of these things need to be taken into consideration along with how you weaken the cartels at the same time. And you need somebody that understands this. We don't have any time. There's no time to waste. We don't have any learning curve time in this, at this juncture where we're at. We got to send somebody that understands it. As far as economy, I've been a business owner, but I've run a large agency. My budget is over 60 million. I'm expected to balance that budget and to stay within that budget. You talk about crime's on the rise all across this country. We got people that are not holding illegals accountable. We got not holding criminals accountable, and yet they're holding Americans accountable to the max. You know, the law's not working. It's lawfare. It's unequal justice. And you need somebody that understands that. And I've had nearly 2 decades fighting crime and fighting for law enforcement. So when you talk about all these issues, you know, I looked at myself, my wife and I, we said, we have the ability. We felt the responsibility. And plus, we just love God, family, freedom in this country, in America. And we're going to do everything we can to fight for it.
Knowing time constraints, I really want to whittle it down to something that would really apply to our audience today and interesting. I would like to have you discuss your fix for the immigration process. We talked about the campfire chat, and you've talked about with the retina scan.
Greg, you know I'm a simple guy,
right?
And the simplicity of it is go back to what works. We know that under the Trump administration, those policies were working. So let's start there. Let's re-implement those policies. And you don't need a border bill to do that. The president is lying to you. He does not need more money. He does not need a bill to fix the border. He has all the authority he has under Section 212F of Immigration and Naturalization. He has the sweeping authority to make the changes. It's the same authority he used to undo the Trump policies that were working. Now, what are some of those policies? Hold people accountable. Imagine that. Enforce the law. If you come to this country, we send you back. If you make a false asylum claim, you should be sent back. If you come in again, you are banned for 5 years from coming to this country, and you may face jail time. That's what we should be doing. The second you start doing that, that will immediately start to reduce people coming into this country. Not to mention, no more false asylum claims. That's what the Remain in Mexico program was. If you're going to make an asylum claim, you can wait in Mexico until your time for the court.
Exactly.
Right now, they're giving them court dates for 2032. So you're saying we're going to let these people live in our country for all that time. And frankly, our government, our tax dollars are giving them housing, food, transportation, gift cards. They're doing all that. And it's our tax dollars. Now, it's bad enough they sent our tax dollars over to Ukraine and all these other places, but they're not taking care of the American people. And then they're taking our tax dollars and giving it to people that they should have stopped at the border. So the quick fix is go back to the Trump era policies. You can institute those immediately. And this is part of the reason why they're gonna bash Republicans who didn't want to vote for that border bill. That was not a border bill; it was a global assistance bill. But furthermore, it was going to codify into law a lot of bad policies that we don't want, and they were doing that so that President Trump can't come in and change everything with his authority he has under Section 212F.
Sheriff, a quick switch gear. I love the generations, talking about the generations. You told a story about millennials. We were talking a lot about Gen X versus millennials and Gen Z. It's such a concern because of those younger generations. Are you available there? Did you click off? Did we lose Sheriff Lamb? Brian? Hello. Boy, maybe he's driving through Quebec or something in a blind spot. What I was going to have Sheriff Lamb talk about is of course, I love the generations and stuff, and I wanted him to touch on. He had said that that special ops friend of him had told him that the millennials, with the bad rap they get as far as being lazy or whatever. That they're some of the best soldiers in the world, warriors in the world. They have a combination of a warrior spirit, but also knowledge of technology. And that was a real big exclusive news to me. If we can get him back online here, I'm sure, he's out on the road, so anything can be happening with his signal. But I'll just talk, since we're there, just talk generations a little bit. I love it. And on my YouTube channel, there are a lot of Sheriff Lamb clips from my campfire, and we talk about the generations. Sheriff Lamb and so many people right now. He's 51, and he's a pure Gen Xer. Most Gen X folks are in their 40s and 50s, but then we have the younger generations coming up, and I was so actually thrilled. Do we have someone coming in the room?
Yeah, that's me.
There you go. Did you drive through a hotspot there?
No, I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb, and I got a phone call. It booted me off.
Oh. How do you?
Though that's kind of my way of knowing that I needed to probably get going. I wish I could spend more time with you, Greg. But,
no. God love you. Thanks.
I got about 5 to 10 more minutes on audio, but I can't do video because I got to drive while I'm talking.
Right. No worries. No worries at all. Just go ahead. I'll give you the mic again because I know we're real limited. Let folks know maybe about your books for sale. I know they're on Amazon, and how they can contribute to your campaign. And just close out the segment here, Mark, whenever you have to go. I so appreciate you being here, but talk about that. And if you have time, I love the story you had about the millennials that were great soldiers. Very underrated because they were great soldiers, knowing technology and stuff. I don't know if you have time for that, but turning the mic over to you here. And
yeah,
go
I don't
ahead.
know if I have time we'll have to save that one for another day, but
Okay.
I can't remember what the first things you can come support me at sheriffland.com. You can come support me there. Look, we got some real problems to fix in this country. And look, right now is not the time. I find it funny in politics because we have people that will run that don't have really any qualifications. And yet there will be like business people who have been in business for a long time who say, yeah, I'm going to go with that person. I'm like, would you ever hire somebody for your business that had no experience in the field that you were wanting to hire them for. That's the thing is I bring 8 years of experience as an elected official. I bring experience on the border. I bring experience with budgeting, crime, all of those things. And furthermore, I'm a lifelong proven conservative, unwavering, no flip-flopping. I'm a conservative who believes in defending life. I believe in defending the Constitution, the Second Amendment. I believe in small government, and my job as a senator will be to reduce the size of government as much as I can. I think we need them out of our states as much as possible, which is what the founding fathers intended. And they should really focus on what they're supposed to do, which is to defend us, provide for common defense, promote the general welfare, not provide for the general welfare, but to promote the general welfare, which means less taxes, more business friendly, less restrictions, less government overreach on businesses, which makes it more business friendly, which that is promoting the general welfare for jobs, everything else. So we've got to make some changes, and we can't keep sending back the same people. I'm not a uniparty guy. I'm a constitutional conservative. I am not endorsed by all the politicians, and I'm not getting all their money. They're the last thing they probably want is a guy like me who's going to actually represent people. And then as far as my books, I've written 2 books. I'm a best-selling author, but I'm no author. These are like sheriff run, see sheriff work. That's what they're about. Maybe not that simple, but yes, that one is American Sheriff Rules to Live By. It's based on the poem by Rudyard Kipling, If. It's a great poem. And what I do is tell stories of the founding fathers. And that book, the first one is stories of the founding fathers of hope, courage, and determination. That book is American Sheriff, Traditional Values in a Modern World. My first book kind of gives you a glimpse into my life, but at the same time, I weave in what I think are traditional values that built this country, and I think they are traditional values we need back in this country.
God love you, Sheriff Lamb. I'll let you go. There's more of you out there every day, Sheriff. You conservatives, younger guys. We have Leo Zaki on the station here who's just like you. So I'm going to think there's going to be a wave back. It's going to be led by guys like you. Sheriff Lamb for Senate.com. Sheriff Lamb for Senate.com. Thank you, Mark. Safe travels out there. Hugs to Janelle, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. God bless you. We'll do this again. When I'm actually sitting down, I didn't know I was supposed to be on video, so I apologize.
No worries. And I'm sitting here with a black eye and a bandage. Hey, you never know how life's going to go, Sheriff. God love you, okay?
Hey,
good luck. Lamb 51, okay, in November. Here we go.
Here we go.
Thanks. Wow. Break time. Brian, how are we looking? I know we thank goodness we just went cover to cover here with Sheriff Lamb. Good stuff. It's always great. The only challenge with Mark is you can sit for hours and chat with this guy, as you can tell. You can sit for hours chatting with this guy. And again, we don't have that, but we had enough. I'll tell you what, it was really good. This will be re-platformed. The whole show and likely clips here of Sheriff Lamb and some other clips, if they're good, will be re-platformed on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is at Greg Meakin. I'll do a quick little personal summary here, just for folks that might not know me. My name is Greg Meakin, spelled GREGMEAKIN, just like the screen. My website's gregmeakin.com. My YouTube channel is at Greg Meakin. There's over 1,000 YouTube videos on mostly radio clips and clips like this type of thing. Are on my YouTube channel, and I truly invite folks to pop in, view, and subscribe. Fun stuff, and lots of Sheriff Lamb on there. This has been absolutely amazing. We're looking like we're already 40 minutes into the show, and can you imagine? So I appreciate everybody popping in the chat. I got to reach out here. You guys are awesome. In the wonderful comments here, we got, of course, Val Olson. We got Tony Garcia Martin. You're great. Thank you, Tony, for popping in. Of course, we had Michael Mandeville, who was great. Appreciate it. Lots and lots of Alberta followers, of course, of Not only me, not only Val Olson stuff, but Sheriff Lamb. Sheriff Lamb, to remind everybody, he was the earliest. He was like the earliest bird of the early birds endorsing and supporting Alberta 51, Alberta, USA. Right out of the blue, where he just loved the idea, loved the people up there, loves the independence, the freedom, etc. And more than ever, we're really pushing him to trying to push him over the finish line to be able to win not only the Republican primary, but then go beat this Ruben Gallego guy, total Marxist, got the nice family commercials and stuff, and all the guys, the other politicians around the country are like that. But in the end, what I'm thrilled about, no matter what, is I see a young generation, including the Mark Lambs, including lots of the folks who got radio guys down here in Phoenix who are Russell and Hunter, and they are fabulous. Once again, Generation X, conservative, founding father stuff, constitutional stuff. So there we go. Looking at God, we've done such a kind of comprehensive job of getting to see Sheriff Lamb, kind of his plan. I have absolutely no idea how he does it. Guess what? Rome, Italy. Greetings from Rome by Art Sutherland. Goodness, Art, thank you for tuning in. Imagine that, Rome. We've got, and I don't know if they'll jump in the chat, but we have, and I have listeners and readers in, of course, a bunch in Canada, England, Germany, Australia. Believe it or not, Australia confuses me. This show starts at 4:00 in the morning, Thursday in Australia, so I won't expect to hear many folks in the chat on that. But thank you so much, Art Sutherland. Just a little bit of trivia here. He's an old friend of mine. He travels all the time, but he's an ice genius, ice specialist. He has built most of the Olympic ice surfaces in the last, I think, 30 years. Including Beijing and so forth, but amazing history. Art Sutherland, as far as being an ice guy, and he became a very dear friend of mine when he happened to build the ice for a little place called Bremerton Ice Arena up in the Seattle area. Art is a genius. Thank you so much for shouting out there. We've got 2 or 3 little countries going in a fun way in the chat. So much again, Tony Garcia Martin, you're great. You're great. The past MAGA shows, some of the past MAGA shows have been with me and one of the dearest friends in the world, Captain James McCormick. Since the MAGA product started 3 episodes ago, James has since, God love him, he accepted a position, get this, in Washington, D.C. as the National Director of Government Affairs for the Vietnam veterans of America. And so he has so little time on his hands these days. And I offered to say, no, I'll go solo. I'll continue the MAGA Matters brand and stuff. But Captain James McCormick will always be invited in the house. It's much more entertaining when he's here, and he's a lot younger than me. So, but you want to hear, some big stories. You get from James McCormick. One of my favorite stories. We're talking about a 3-time Purple Heart. He doesn't like it when I call him this, but a war hero. And Captain James McCormick is kind of a legend with his own circles and has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of military veterans who follow him and that he helps and mentors. And so shout out to good old James. He will at any time is invited to pop back to the show. And another shout out, of course, to my friend Val Olson, who has just been so on top of especially news in Alberta. She's down in Florence, Arizona now, and just a diligent investigative reporter. Follow her work. She's Val Olson, is spelled Olson. She is on X, and her handle is @HomeMediaMom. For anything really cutting edge investigative journalism, especially up in Alberta. She knows politics up there. I see a comment from Val. I'm only a beginner level in Kaizen, but I've got a clothes hanger and not afraid to pull it. Just fabulous. Comment from Michael Mandeville. Good morning from your friend in Alberta. Wonderful. Love it. Tony Garcia Martin. I love Sheriff Mark Lamb for U.S. Senate for the win. Bring K9 Nala home. Excellent. Once again, Tony Garcia Martin, you're so active in the chat. You're smart. I love having you on, Tony. South American cartel is burglarizing Valley Homes, calling them dinner time burglars too. We need a secure border before it's too late. I've been predicting, I just can't believe it, and I want to throw up, thinking there's going to be projected 12 million illegal crossers under the Biden term, under his administration. That includes getaways. But if that number's wrong, I think it's low. And this is being allowed. I simply cannot believe mandatory rent here, but I cannot believe that our administration and the media is looking the other way at this complete tragedy and travesty. As Sheriff Lamb so eloquently put it, the people flooding the border, I simply don't understand it. I don't know anyone of common sense. I don't know anyone in my generation, boomers or seniors, any kind of common sense that understand this. So I just reach out to everybody saying my hope and prayer is that there's a wave of what I call 1950s handshake world, just like you heard with Sheriff Lamb, just like you hear with Leo Zaki, a wave of traditionalism, common sense, authenticity, truth. And I really do believe they're good politicians, just like these guys. I believe it is a wave back to conservatism starting November 5th. Everybody, even if you haven't voted in the past, even if you don't feel like it, even blah, 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 please get to the polls, even if it's just this time. Vote in your primaries, vote Republicans or great conservatives, vote on November 5th. I believe, it breaks my heart. I believe it's an existential fork in the road for us. I really do. It breaks my heart because I came from a different generation, and we're going to take a fork in the road, either veer left. I mean, left. I came from Canada the first half of my life, and what's going on up there is just an embarrassment. Veering left or staying the course of American freedom, of constitutionalism. Nobody knows out there, and I don't know why they don't know. The United States of America is wholly unique with her Constitution, namely the First and Second Amendment. Full show for another day, but no other country in the world, no matter how tough it is, no matter how bad it is, no other country in the world has the protections of the First and Second Amendment. They simply don't exist in that form elsewhere. As Ronald Reagan used to say, we're the last bastion of freedom. And now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but now that I've seen my Canada that I grew up with, where it has come and stuff, and I'm saying, I don't think I could ever live there again, no matter how much I love it, no matter how much I love my Canadian friends. But I don't think it's a bastion of freedom. I don't think it's a bastion of freedom that I actually grew up with. And a lot of the older folks grew up back in the Norman Rockwell times and stuff. And can we return to common sense? My answer is yes, but we must win elections. No time for talkie-talkie, no time for crossing the aisle. We must win elections and win them in landslides and or convincingly. We're going to pull a Ron DeSantis in Florida and then fix this mess. We watched Joe Biden with executive orders in the third week of January in 2021, just started with 63 executive orders and went from there. And he's just signed it away. Keystone Pipeline, border, on and on. And what people don't know, my prediction is going to be that the new president, President Donald Trump, will sign, as I've said, scores scores of executive orders to try and fix this mess. Well, what do you mean? Well, open the Keystone Pipeline. Hello. I won't even get into the list. I've done a real fun rant here. Anyhow, we're going to be coming down, goodness gracious, to the end of the show here one of these minutes. Let me tell you once again to peek at my YouTube channel, which is at Greg Meakin. And please do visit my website, gregmeakin.com. I can't wait till future shows. I look forward to MAGA Matters. MAGA Matters. And like James and I were talking on the first show, MAGA, of course, it's been branded as bad, MAGA, Orange Man, bad. And what it actually means is make America great again for 100 different reasons. 1950s handshake world, knowing our local businesses, shopping local, taking care of our home front, living in a comfortable culture that's faith-based. And I really do believe that it's going to come back to that. I am going to take a quick second here. And I am going to, this is going to be fun. This is my only kind of freelancing as we start wrapping up the show. I wanted to read a quick excerpt. And it's an excerpt out of a book called Why I Came to America and What I Think Now by Greg Meakin. I love this. First time ever this is available on Amazon. I finally broke down, opened an Amazon store, and it still creeps me out what it takes to register with Amazon. It kind of creeped me out. But Why I Came to America and What I Think Now. And this is page 25. And one of the questions that I continue to get is, do Americans love war? Okay, reading right here, page 25. Do Americans love war? I say this, I read this because it was one of the most well-received lines, and it was this. You want an edgy question? You got one. Do Americans wake up in the morning and just before breakfast take a quiet moment and crave for war? Does Canada only wage war by unleashing tersely worded letters of reprimand upon her enemies? Harsh yet polite letters. Are these caricature labels actually correct? And in the end, again, there's a full chapter on that, but I was raised the first half of my life in Canada. I came down, as most people know, came down to the United States in 1983. And so I have full dual citizenship in both countries. And I tell people, I praise God that I'm a United States American, that I was born American. But that said, it is basically my brand, and a lot of my radio and writings right now is dealing on the difference between Canada and the United States. And there's a difference. And I don't believe for a minute both countries are perfect. Hello. But it's so interesting, even on the healthcare front. We talk about Canadian healthcare. I love Canadian healthcare is happy. And I keep on saying, and I wrote this in the book, the thing in healthcare, this really relates to the U.S. versus Canada. You can have universal healthcare. It sounds great. It sounds wonderful. It's like having an insurance policy that says that everything's covered. But that's the contract, the coverage. But the coverage is different than the care. Can you get the care? I've got some personal stories medically. My wife and I had 3 hip replacements within 12 months down here in the States. But I've contended that there's not. I don't think there's a universal solution here. But I think that we can take things from both countries in concept. Yet going for in America, here we go, and this is personal experience, we have the highest quality care I've ever seen that simply is not available elsewhere. Again, it can be practical. It's 48 hours notice for an MRI, hip replacement, less than 30 days out. In Canada, I just can't believe it. And folks will give a laundry list, but the wait times. I had my accountant up in Montreal who he was in his 70s, and the government's trying. He desperately needed a hip replacement, but the government was waiting, really, hopefully, for him to die. He told me that before they had to pay for a hip replacement because he was crowding 80. And I said, Pierre, my hip replacement went smoothly. I had to pay like $150. Incredible care. We'll be talking about that more. I've really got some passionate ideas about healthcare that are really for other shows, further shows. Also, I'm completely passionate on education. Goodness gracious. Oh my God, where's the public school system gone? I'll leave it at that. My mom was a teacher in Montreal. My grandmother's a teacher. They would turn over in their graves right now if they saw the state of education. But again, as we're crowding kind of the end of the show, my answer to that is simply whatever Arizona is doing, and I know there's other states, with their it's a school voucher program where literally all the parents have a choice, usually between 3 to 5 schools. It's, again, no cost to the parents, and the schools compete against each other. It's the answer to, I think, a lot of our woes as far as trying to get this awful bureaucracy, heavy-handed bureaucracy in the country, not only at the Washington, D.C. level, but every level, every government agency. Sounds like a little bit of a rant here, but that's great. And we will indeed be wrapping pretty soon. I am Greg Meakin. This is MAGA Matters on America Matters Radio, America Matters Media. God love you guys. God love everybody in the chat and everybody out of there. We're going to be heading out for the day. We'll see you. And have a great week and a great weekend. Thanks, guys. I'll just mute myself out and head on down the